Hello. Good morning. ඉතින් ඔන්න බලලා නැති අද යුනිෆෝම් එක ඇඳලා මොකද කරන්න කියලා. දැන් වෙලාව හරියටම 1:46යි වෙලාව. ඉතින් අපි ඉන්නේ බ්‍රිජ් එකේ. මාත් එක්ක ඉන්නවා අපේ second mate නැත්නම් second officer බල්සා. ඉතින් අපි අද වීඩියෝ එක කරන්න යන්නේ කොහොමද නැවකට මුහුද යන්න පාරක් හදන්නේ. කියන්නේ අපට ඕන විදියට හැමතැනම යන්න බෑ මුහුදේ. ඉතින් ඒකට කොහොමද පාරක් හදන්නේ නැත්නම් කොහොමද පැසේජ් ප්ලෑන් එකක් හදන්නේ. අලුත් වොයේජ් එකක්, ඒ කියන්නේ අලුත් රටකට අපිට යන්න ඩීටේල්ස් ආවට පස්සේ අපි කොහොමද ඒ රටට යන්න පාරක් හදාගන්නේ, ඒ පාරේ කොහොමද නැව අරගෙන යන්නේ කියන එක තමයි අද ඔයාලට කියලා දෙන්න යන්නේ. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today?
So, good morning. Now we are on the navigational bridge, 2 o'clock a.m. That means second mate morning watch. We are UTC +4 time. So, during the bridge time, in navigation, like all the time, somebody need to cover up the bridge, of course, and this is done by 3 officers. So, each officer has 8 hours during day, and that means 3 officers covering 24 hours the bridge, and all the time somebody during navigation is on the bridge checking the ship movements and all necessary things.
So that's every day, yeah?
Every day, every week, every year,
no holidays,
24/7. Yeah. New Year also, everything included. So while the ship is running, we are also running.
So it doesn't matter New Year, Christmas or whatever holidays you get in your country, on the bridge should be manned by some officer.
So one advice, when you say Happy New Year to officer from the navigation or for the back officer, don't say enjoy, have a nice time, visit, just say take good care of navigation, and I wish you all the best, because he's probably working and he doesn't want to hear that he's enjoying and traveling the world or whatever. So it's probably in uniform and working like every normal day.
So if you're watching this my video since 2020, you probably know him because we did one video about 2 years ago, about 2 years ago about hospital. Although how this medical situation is on board a ship, and how we have our first aid and helicopter lifting, and what medicines we have in our, what do we call it, medical chest.
Explanation regarding all the hospital.
All hospital details
should be done in case of a medical emergency.
So if you didn't check this video, you can go check from this link here, and his name is, your name is Balsa, but I cannot pronounce the other part.
Balsa Stojkovic.
Balsa Stojkovic. So he's from Montenegro, and let's get on with the video.
Yeah. So during the contract, each officer has some busy time. Let's say the busiest time from part of his contract. For the second officer, he is also navigational officer. He is the time when he gets a new route, new port, and during this time, he has a lot of preparations to be done to prepare the ship to sail for the next port. So what does it mean? Means that when the ship sails, everything needs to be ready for the next voyage, including the charts, the passage plan, electronic publications. So other officers need just to come and have everything ready and just continue with the other duties. So all this navigational part is coming on the obligation of the second officer or navigation officer on the bridge. So most important, we can start from the preparing the route and ordering the charts. This is the first step what should be done.
ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මොකක් හරි voyage එක පටන් ගන්න කලින් එයා කියන්නේ අපේ electronic publications, charts, ඒ හැම දෙයක්ම ලෑස්ති වෙලා තියෙන්න ඕන. දැන් අපි අලුත් රටකට වගේ යනවා නම් අපේ ගාව ඒ charts නැත්තම් ඒවා අපි order කරලා ගෙන්න ගන්න ඕන. ඉතින් ඉස්සර තිබුණේ අපේ ගාව මෙන්න මේ වගේ charts. So on board our ship, these paper charts are no longer in use.
Yes. So before, only paper charts were active and were possible. So it was necessary to prepare the route and waypoints on the paper charts. Some ships still doing this, but normally these days we have electronic charts, the computer part. But shortly I will also show you the paper chart and how it was done. So paper charts, as the name says, is on the paper, and for electronic charts, same these charts we have inserted in the computer, and it's like easiest to update and easier to work, like all these things what we have now in let's say electronic form. So also here by the positions, if we have position of the waypoint, we can use degrees for longitude and latitude, and by the okay, I can show also the other part of the navigational rulers, and there is this guy here. The officers were putting the waypoints like this, and by here we have also the integrated the course, and like this we can check course we need and connect the waypoints, and we get the from two waypoints we get the course between them, and with the this one we can check the distances. So 1 minute is 1 mile on the chart, and by this distances we can check the distance, and by the ruler and waypoints you can check the course, and
So on
basically
this
like
chart,
this was making the route and chart.
on this chart 1 minute is 1 mile.
1 mile. Normally the 1 minute is 1 mile, and here we have, depends of the size of the charts, we have, if it's a general chart, here will be degrees, and we will search for the minutes. If some coastal chart, it will be marked like in the larger scale, and then it's easier to find the minute.
Okay, so what from where is this chart from which area showing?
This one actually is archipelago of Madagascar. So this is part of Madagascar, and just showing the part. It's probably the route was from Richards Bay to Singapore and crossing Madagascar. So for all this voyage from port to port, you have part of the oceans or ports with the chart. So you need to take all the charts for these parts and cover all the route. Some of the, let's say, one point on the planet have like 5 or 6 charts from smaller to biggest, and all these charts need to be covered and fill up by course, and be ready on the bridge to, when the ship leaves this area, put back this other chart and just follow how the voyage is proceeding, putting the new charts.
Okay.
But this is more or less the old story, so I will give the more details to nowadays how it's doing. So
Right.
from these paper charts we pass to the electronic charts on the
Right. ඉතින් ඉස්සරම තමයි මේ වගේ පේපර් chart එක පාවිච්චි කරේ. දැන් අපේ නැවේ නම් පේපර් charts පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. මේව පාවිච්චි කරන නැවුත් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් එයා කිව්වේ දැන් අපි voyage එකක් පටන් ගන්න කලින් ඒ voyage එකේ යන මුළු දිගටම අදාළ charts order කරලා නැවේ තියෙන්න ඕන. ඒක තමයි නීතිය. ඉතින් මේ equipments ගන්නේ මෙතන තියෙනවා protector එකක්, protector එකක්. අපි ඒකට වෙන වචනයක් කියනවත් දන්නේ නැහැ navigation වලින්. මේ ඒරියා එකේ මේ map එක මේ නැත්තම් මේ chart එක මැඩගස්කර් වල තියෙන මෙතන තියෙන මැඩගස්කර් මෙතනින් පෙන්වන්නේ. ඒ හරිය තමයි මේ chart එකෙන් පෙන්වන්නේ. ඉතින් මේකෙන් පොඩි ඒරියා එකක් තමයි පෙන්වන්නේ. මේ වගේ ඉතින් මුහුද ගොඩාක් ලොකුයිනේ. මේ charts ගොඩාක් තියෙනවා. So from here to here how much, like roughly distance?
See by degrees.
Yeah.
So if you take the distance, you can just pass here and read 1 degree have 60 minutes. So 60 miles by 1 degree. You can just check how many minutes.
Okay. ඉතින් දැන් අපි බලන්න යන්නේ දැන් කොහොමද අපේ නැවේ කරන්න කියලා මේක electronic chart එකෙන් කියන්නේ XDIS එකෙන්. Can we switch on?
So let's switch to
These lights, yeah. ඉතින් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ lights off කරලා තමයි මේකේ තියෙන්නේ. මොකද එතකොට එළියක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක අඳුර ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ පැත්තේ මුහුදේ මොනවා හරි එළියක් තියෙනවා නම්.
So start.
Yeah.
First important thing when we get the new passage is to prepare the charts and prepare the route which the ship will follow, and
So this is called
electronic charts.
yeah, this machine
Like this.
XDIS.
Like this.
Yeah.
This means the shortly of electronic chart indicating display system. So that means that these charts are shown electronically.
Right.
So, for example, if we have Singapore and we need to proceed to some African port, let's say Richards Bay or something, first thing we will do, we will check which charts we need. We will order these charts and update.
Mm-hmm.
So how it's done? We have in computer the program which is connected to all catalog of the charts of the world, and we can type 2 ports, for example, from Singapore to Richards Bay, and we got just a demi route which can show us what is important, which charts our voyage is touching. So all these charts we can put in the basket and send order to company which we are chosen to give us provide us with the charts.
So these should be bought. You should pay.
Yeah, each permit, each chart is paying, and when they send us the request, and they will send us the installation file, which we from program from computer, or depends which company how is doing.
Right.
We are putting in the EGDIS and we are installing the charts. Means that we have the whole world here, but to open to see details like depths or some shallow waters, some names, lights, everything, we need to have permit for this chart. When we install this chart, we need also to update the charts, because each week some changes happenings, and we need to update from beginning of this chart up to today. We need to have fully updated chart with permit, so we can use the chart. Only once it's fully updated, chart can be used for navigation. So
I think charts order කරලා ඒවා සල්ලි දීලා අරගෙන තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒවා මේ මෙහෙන් order කරාට අපේ company එක through තමයි ඒ වැඩ වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒ ටික ගැන ලොකුවට හිතන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඒවා company එක through වෙන්නේ. දැන් අපි යන්නේ සිංගප්පූරුවේ ඉඳන් අප්‍රිකාවේ රටකට කලින් ගිහිල්ලා නැති රටක්, අලුත් රටක්, මොසැම්බික් වල තියෙන මපුතෝ කියන පෝට් එකට යනවා. එතන ඉඳන් යනවා සවුත් අප්‍රිකාවල රිචර්ඩ්ස් බේ. එතනින් මට ගෙදර එන්නත් තියෙනවා. Right.
So starting from this Singapore, this is one of the busiest channels in the world with a lot of traffic and regulations.
ඉතින් මේ පෙන්නලා තියෙන්නේ සිංගප්පූර් ඒරියා එක.
So especially this area need to be carefully planned and checked all the details before giving the route to monitor and used by the other officers. So once we install the charts, we got the informations and everything in the EGDIS display, and we update the charts. Only then we can start preparing the route. So route can be prepared by manually putting the waypoints how we like, changing, doesn't matter, so like this. Or we can type in computer from port to port. We get some route approximately, we put inside of the EGDIS, and then carefully adjust all the waypoints and voyage up to rules, and consider all the safety for navigation and everything to be checked.
Right. ඉතින් මේක ඔයාලට දැන් කම්පියුටර් එකේ ගේම් එකක් ගහනවා වගේ පේනවනේ. මේක ගොඩාක් ලොකු experience එකක් අතුව කරන්න ඕන වැඩක්. මොකද මේ හරියේ නැව් probably some hundreds of ships sailing around this area. A lot of ships.
They passing hundreds of the ships. From as you can see on the chart, you have 2 ways from inward and downward of the channel. So it's like on the street, like with the cars. You cannot crash directly because the ships going opposite directions. But of course, all the time you have ships which you need to overtake, or some smaller fishing boats, barge. So all the time you need to be very vigilant, careful, and to check all aids of navigation to avoid any problems. Or
so this way is
it's going here outside of the Singapore Strait, and
here also
coming from Africa to Singapore.
So even there might be some ships crossing this way
a lot
also.
of ferries, barges crossing from Indonesia to Malaysia, or
so they
just crossing, and it lot of them not applying to the rules or navigation. Then we need to take care about our passage and also theirs. Like
So are there like let's say if we cross the road in a road there, we have some crossings in the road. So do they have something like this on the sea?
on this they
If they cross our route, some place to cross, so they can.
they just crossing how they like, especially if they are smaller boats or barges.
Yeah.
So we need to take care about it. For the bigger ships, there is like exactly crossing shams.
Mhm.
Should be like let's
this.
say like this, and they should apply to this zone, but we cannot be ever enough sure that they will apply to the rules,
Right.
and that they will do as it requested from them.
ඉතින් ඒ හරියෙන් නැව් ගොඩක් 100 ගාණක් යන නිසා ඔය තියෙන රූල්ස් වලට පොඩි ships පොඩි ඒවා ඒ හරිය තියෙන ලෝකල් යන නැව් මේවා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඒවට ඇඩිය වෙන්නේ නැහැ ඒවා මේ ෆලෝ කරන්නේ නැහැ රයිට් ඉතින් එහෙනම් අපි බලමු දැන් මෙතන ඉඳන් කොහොමද සවුත් අප්‍රිකාව වලට දැන් හදන්නේ කියලා.
So we will plan our route to
Yep.
traffic. This is a TSS traffic separation chain. We are using our direction, and we also need to be careful about different points, lighthouses, buoys, and also need to consider that can be normal way and deep water ways. Like for example here, ships with a smaller draft just using the normal direction,
Mhm.
and the ships with the draft 15 meters and more, they can use the deep water route, which is only like bigger
Oh.
depths, and that like this it's way more there is less ship in the same direction, and especially deep draft vessels they
Right.
can use this deep
think-
water route.
නැව ගොඩක් ඩ්‍රාෆ්ට් එක වැඩි නම් ඒ කියන්නේ නැවේ උස වැඩි නම් ගිලිලා තියෙන ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි නම් මේ පැත්තේ ගැඹුර වැඩි ඒ පැත්තෙන් යන්න පුළුවන් මේ පැත්තෙන් ඩ්‍රාෆ්ට් එක අඩු ඒවට තමයි යන්න තියෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ.
So just interesting information about Singapore Strait. There is 2 deep water routes which can be used, and 9 sectors, reporting sectors, which are marked in the publications. We marked here like user charting like this. So when we cross this line, we need to report to sector which is deducted for this area to inform that we are passing and give our information about the ship. This is VTS, vessel traffic system,
Mhm.
and like this they know which ships are in the area, how many crew members, what is their destination, and they control traffic like this. And in
Uh-huh.
case of some breaking the rules or some problems on the ship or anything, they have more information what's happening
Right.
with ship and how to react in this situation.
Okay. So now we are going this way.
Yeah,
Yes.
we already passed the Singapore Strait few days ago.
Yeah.
Now we are in the open sea, and we are heading to Mauritius, south of Mauritius.
So
and
let's see Sri Lanka on here.
Sri Lanka should be
Yeah.
somewhere north of us.
Yes.
Let's see if we are exactly under Sri Lanka.
Here.
Yeah, so we passed a little bit, but more or less not so far from us. It's exactly 1,614 miles from
ඉතින්
our position.
ලංකාවට තියෙන දුර තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. nautical mile 1573ක්. ඉතින් ඒක වැඩි කරලා බලන්න 1.85.
From Gale. Gale is also a very interesting spot for Siemens because it's good for crew change. So
Yeah.
a lot of Siemens have a crew change here and use the airport.
One time you also went home from
Yeah.
Galle. Yeah?
From Gale, I went in quarantine with the corona and 3 days staying in the hotel. Very nice hotel, by the way. And after that, by the Colombo
Airport.
airport, I got shifted home.
Right.
So after preparing carefully the route,
මේ තියෙන අපි ආපු පාර දැන් මේ තියෙන. මේම තමයි අපි ඇවිත්
okay,
තියෙන්නේ.
we can put a large scale so be visible.
Yeah.
So during the preparation of the route, we need to take care about depths, about any places which can be dangerous for the ship, to avoid them and to make safest possible
Mhm.
passage for the ship. So
Okay.
something like this from Singapore to
මේ තියෙන්නේ.
Mozambique, about 5,000 miles approximately.
ඉතින් සිංගප්පූරුවේ ඉඳන් මොසම්බික් වලට මයිල්ස් 5000ක් විතර තියෙනවා කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ. ඒක ඉතින් වැඩි කරන්න 5000 වැඩි කරන්න 1.85. එතකොට කිලෝමීටර් එනවා ඔයාලට ඕන.
So one of the important things when preparing route on like this is to have to make all information for the passage plan. So in planning mode we make the route, and when we finalize the route we put it to monitor. That means that we are using this route for navigation. So it's important to change the time zones, because in Singapore we have 8 plus from the zone 1.
8 plus
UTC,
means from UTC.
From UTC we have 8 hours more. So if it's noon time in let's say London, here will be 8 o'clock evening time, 20 So each waypoint which are giving position of the ship in the moment, we need to put exactly the UTC time, so we have exactly time in ETA of our ship. For example, in Maputo, Mozambique is +2.
Right.
That means that from beginning of our voyage we need to shift 6 hours back to retard the ship 6 times for 1 hour. To when we come to the Maputo, we have exactly the local time, and also during talkings to pilot, port control, we need to have exact time.
Exactly.
So to synchronize with vessel and the port.
ඉතින් ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අපි සිංගප්පූරුවෙන් පටන් ගන්නකොට අපි UTC time එකෙන් +8 වල ඉන්නේ. මොකද UTC time එක කියලා කියන්නේ හිතන්න ලන්ඩන් වල තියෙන වෙලාව කියලා. ලන්ඩන් වල වෙලාව රෑ 12යි නම් සිංගප්පූරුවේ වෙලාව උදේ 8යි. එතකොට අපි මපුතෝ වලට යනකොට මොසැම්බික් වලට යනකොට මොසැම්බික් is +2 +2. ඉතින් එතකොට +8 ඉඳන් +2 වෙනකන් එන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට රිටාර්ඩ් කරගෙන තමයි එන්නේ. පැය අඩු කරගෙන නැති ඒක ගැන වෙනම වීඩියෝ එකක් ඔයාලට කරන්න. වෙලාව වෙනස් කරන හැටි. ඉතින් මේකේ දැන් තියෙනවා එක තැන්වල වේ පොයින්ට්ස් දාලා. තැන් වලට වේ පොයින්ට්ස් දාලා ඒක කනෙක්ට් කරගෙන තමයි එන්නේ. මෙතන තියෙනවා ඒ ටික කොහොමද කරන්න කියලා. Yep.
Okay. So when we make the route on the axis, we also need to mark some approaching points to our destination port. For example, coming closely to the pilot station and the port, the traffic become busiest. There is more, let's say, ships, fishing boats, more navigational markings and buoys which we need to check.
Okay.
These parts should be checked carefully, and I will explain later. We need to check all nautical publications about this port to get informations how to approach to this port, how are the depths, which is the best possible way and safe to come to the port. Usually there is some shallow waters and channels in the port which are.
So we are coming from this way.
Yeah, and
so
we have special.
Why it cannot be from like this exit?
Because
straight?
we have a draft about let's say 12 meters, and that means that our ship is immersed in the water for 12 meters.
Yeah.
And coming here, you can see the depths in the chart. We have like 12, 11, 6. So once we pass here, it's already too shallow for us, and ship would went aground. So we use special channel which is prepared by the port and controlled by yearly basis.
Yeah.
And we're using this channel which is really narrow, and we need to use exactly this one.
Right. So they make this channel by dredging, yeah?
By dredging. And then we have enough depth to come to the port, and we need to strictly follow this part until pilot station, where pilot is taking over the ship together with the master.
Oh, still pilot is not on board up to here.
Yeah,
no.
up to here. So for example, in this specific port we need to make this round turn with the ship by ourselves, and only here pilot is coming.
Right.
To bring ship together with master orders and pilot advices to the port.
Right. I think then pennuwe මේකේ then can you make it little bit smaller? Like no. Zoom out. Yeah. ඉතින් දැන් ඔයාලට පේනවා පාර දැන් මෙතන තියෙන එක මේ කෙලින් මෙහෙම ගිහිල්ලානේ මෙහෙම යන්නේ. නැතුව මෙහෙම කෙලින් යන්නත් පුළුවන් කියලා හිතනවානේ. ඒ වුණාට මේ හරියේ මුහුද ගැඹුරු නෑ. දැන් අපේ මුහුද නැව මීටර් 12ක් ගිලිලා තියෙනවා. මේ හරිය ගැඹුර මීටර් 11යි ගානක්. ඒක නිසා ඒගොල්ලෝ ඩ්‍රෙජින් ෂිප් එකක් දාලා ඒ කියන්නේ මුහුද වැලි හාරන එකක්. ඒ වැලි හාරන එකක් දාලා මෙතනින් ඒ ලොකු නැව් වලට එන්න හාරලා තියෙන්නේ මුහුද ගැඹුරු කරලා. මෙහෙම මේක එන්න ඕන. මෙන්න මේ හරියේදී පයිලට් ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ පෝට් එකට එයා අරගෙන යනවා කැප්ටන් එක්ක. ඕකේ.
Okay, so another interesting and important thing is to give user charts for other officers, which means to give notifications which need to be done, tasks to be done while approaching the port. For example, when to call pilot, when to call port control, what is the point the best to call helmsman on the bridge, to inform master and to stand by engine. Such information we can type. This is like in our chart we can put some notifications, like with if you have a notebook you can put pen and delete if you need some special information.
So when
Like-
vessel reach this point, you get the notification from the computer, yeah?
Yes, but we find this information in nautical publication, which I will explain after this. And with this position, let's say like 6 miles from the some buoy or for the port, need to inform to Maputo port control on VHF channel 12. So we put here information that anybody who is on the moment on the bridge and with master can understand and need to inform in this specific position port control.
ඉතින් මේ තියෙන notifications දාලා තියෙන මේ points මෙතන point එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා නම් අපි එතෙන්ට ආවට පස්සේ notification එකක් එනවා. එතන දාලා දෙනවා report to Maputo port control VHF channel 12 කියලා. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ channels තියෙනවා. මෙතන තව එකක් මම දැක්කා inform to engine room, ඊට පස්සේ turn echo sounder on, call helmsman, ඒ වගේ එක එක notifications තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේකෙන් වැඩේ ගොඩක් ලේසි වෙලා තියෙනවා. So this is easier than paper charts?
Yeah, this is the thing. Before there was a time between preparing the EGDIS to navigation, and the paper charts were still updated, still in control until the EGDIS was confirmed and accepted by all the companies. So in this moment it was like, let's say, overlapping together EGDIS, and when we make the route on the EGDIS we take the waypoints and then we make same on the paper charts. This was like double job for some period. Now the EGDIS is completely overrun the paper charts. Now we only make on the electronic chart and paper charts are not in use. There is some let's say older and more experienced Siemens, they like paper charts because they think for them it's more, let's say, it's easy to find some information, it's more detailed about some names and everything, but once you used to it and once you get good control of the EGDIS, it's, I think especially it's easier and
so it's like
more simple.
Our generation like computers, and the generation before us would rather go for some newspapers.
They have
we like to watch something on computers and they go for newspapers.
Anyhow,
like this.
They have huge experience and they know a lot of things that our generation doesn't know. But let's say this is easier time, and especially for navigation officer it's much easier to update the EGDIS by weekly basis. We just need a pen drive or CD, we apply to system and it's finished after a few minutes. Before it was downloaded to computer, then printing all this notice to mariners, updating manually by the pencil the charts, and it took a lot of time, a lot of efforts. So anyhow, paper charts have some good options and everything, but easier and better for the moment for navigation officer. I think is electronic chart. At least easier to prepare and update.
තියෙන්නේ Madagascar, මෙතන තමයි Mozambique තියෙන්නේ. So we are going to South Africa after this, after this. So this voyage is already made, or
this is prepared to
passage,
from Singapore to Maputo, and then once it's finished we can, it's already of course prepared, and in this time we
just you have to load
in the moment we can monitor only one route. So once we finish with this voyage we will continue to next port, which is shorter way,
only
from,
1 day,
one day navigation from Mozambique to South Africa, and like 300 miles, and it's very short voyage, and
ඉතින් දැන් සිංගප්පූරුවේ ඉඳන් මපුතෝ වලට යන එක ඉවරුනාට පස්සේ මපුතෝ වල ඉඳන් රිචර්ඩ්ස් බේ වලට යනවා. මොකද අපේ නැව භාගයක් ලෝඩ් කරනවා මපුතෝ මොසැම්බික් වලින්. ඉතුරු ටික ලෝඩ් කරන්නේ රිචර්ඩ්ස් බේ වලින්. රිචර්ඩ්ස් බේ තියෙන්නේ සවුත් අප්‍රිකාව වල. ඉතින් මොසැම්බික් වලින් සවුත් අප්‍රිකාව වලට එක දවසයි. 300 around 300 nautical miles.
Yeah, this is like one way voyage.
Okay.
So once charts are updated, route is prepared, and all informations we can get from the EGDIS. There is another details we need to do to prepare for the current voyage or for the next voyage. So we can come back to this.
හරි බලමු අපි දැන් ඉතුරු ටික. මෙතන තියෙනවා what is this EGDIS voyage plan.
So once we prepare the route and everything, we need to make passage plan to put all waypoints, informations regarding the voyage on the one place. So anybody wants to check something, refer to some information, can find in the passage plan. Before, when the paper charts were active, passage plan was less detailed and only waypoints and few other informations, course and distance. Now through the EGDIS, because obviously we don't have paper charts, so the authorities required from the passage plan to be much more detailed and longer than before when using only paper charts.
So what kind of details we get here?
So normally from the EGDIS we can make name of the waypoints, positions like latitude
Here?
and longitude.
What's here?
Yeah. Then we can also make the let's say the positions from the EGDIS, course and distance between the waypoints.
First latitude and longitude,
Yes.
then
This is like normal what we can take from the EGDIS.
Yeah.
Then also for us it's interesting to take the depths, chart number, which is the most accurate and what is the best chart to use for this current position. Some information like safety depth, safety contours, cross track, it's like the channel we are using not to cross during our voyage.
right.
Heads-ups. Then interesting is remarks. For each waypoints we can put some remark like what is the place, is it dense traffic or not, is it some calling point, which Navtex station we are using.
Some
for
extra
this.
details.
Extra details which can be interesting for such a waypoint.
Right.
Yeah. Then we have the alarm lookout, which is watchdog alarm. It's only for the EGDIS.
So
Integrated.
every 100 0.1 nautical mile.
Yeah, this is how much we need. Watchdog means area what we prepared to if any danger come in our way, like some shallow waters, buoys, some wreck, anything. The EGDIS recognize automatically the danger and give us alarm. And it's up to us to prepare how much we want to put these parameters for such alarm.
Right.
We are also using here to calculate the underclear clearance using the squat and the speed of the vessel, accuracy of the charts, etc. So for underclear clearance we are taking all parameters which can affect our draft and our depth. So our draft, squat, charts accuracy, other motions, all these parameters coming together with ship draft. And we are looking always for the worst possible situation. So how the ship can come deep in the water, comparing to the depths what we have. So under clearance always need to be of course positive. At least should be 1.5 meter that we can safely pass in the worst situation, comparing all these parameters.
ඉතින් මේ voyage plan එකේ ගොඩක් විස්තර තියෙනවා. දැන් මෙතනින් ගත්තොත් ගැඹුර, ඊට පස්සේ safety depth එක, මෙතන තියෙන latitude longitude, ඊට පස්සේ chart number එක. ඒ කියන්නේ EGDIS එකේ අපි දැන් ඉන්න position එකට හරියනම chart number එක මොකක්ද කියලා මෙතන තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මෙහි තව remarks වල තියෙනවා තව additional details. ඉතින් ඒවා ගොඩක් මම විස්තර කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. පෙන්වන්නෙත් නැහැ ඔයාලට. ඉතින් තේරුමක් නැහැ. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේක හැමෝටම බලලා දැනගන්නනේ. තේරෙන්නනේ අපි කරන්නේ වීඩියෝ එක. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා. So this is for only one day.
This is for the whole voyage.
This all
Yes,
papers.
All waypoints. So first waypoint is our starting port and
This is in Singapore.
yeah, and arriving in the Maputo. So this voyage has currently 44 waypoints. So final will be berthing, and the passage plan is very important. Need to be from berth to berth.
right. ඉතින් ඒක කියන්නේ දැන් වේ පොයින්ට් එකක් කියන්නේ අපි මෙතන හිතන්නකො අර පින්ස් දානවා වගේ දාගෙන මෙහෙම ගිහිල්ලා ඒ ටික කනෙක්ට් කරගෙන යන්න ඕන තැනට යනවා. ඉතින් ඒ හැරෙන තැන් වලට තමයි වේ පොයින්ට්ස් කියලා සරලව කියන්නේ. ඉතින්
So
okay.
all details, informations we need to put on some visible place where all officers can come and check what they. So passage plan is one of them, and another part is nautical publications. Before was same like paper charts. We have a lot of books on the bridge, special shelves with a lot of editions and books intended for our voyage, and then was also dating by the hands, and it was long and let's say big job for navigation officer. So for one port we have informations we can take from the electronic nautical publications, such port information about port control details, pilot position, all useful contact numbers and explanations which area we need to report to port control and things like this.
මේකේ තියෙනවා අපේ යන පෝට් එකේ විස්තර ටික, ඒකේ ෆෝන් නම්බර්ස්, ඊට පස්සේ ඒකෙන් VHF එකෙන් කතා කරන්න ඕන, රේඩියෝ එකෙන් කතා කරන්න ඕන තැන්, ඒ දේවල් ටික මේකේ තියෙනවා. මේවට කියන්නේ nautical publications කියලා මේ ටික ඔක්කොටම.
This is about EDPs, Mirality digital publications, and we have ENP, electronic nautical publications. This is specific for each port. We can find a lot of useful information, like which terminal and berths has in this port, port position, informations about port authorities, about tides, about pilotage, tags, and some useful navigational markings, depths, where are dangerous points, wrecks. So a lot of information. So this should be written from top to bottom about this port. So we can find useful information which we can also put in the EGDIS or put in the remarks on the passage plan, which any officers who check need to be well familiarized about this port and what information he can find there.
Okay. ඉතින් මේකේ තියෙනවා තව ගොඩාක් විස්තර ඒ පෝට් එක ගැන. එතන පෝට් එකේ මොනවද මේකේ තියෙනවා දැන් ඒ මොනවද ලෝඩ් කරන જાති, ඊට පස්සේ ගැඹුරවල් ටර්මිනල්ස් ගැන, ඒ වගේ පෝට් එකේ දැන් මෙතන මේ පික්චර්ස් එනම් දාලා තියෙනවා. පාලමක් යටින්ද මෙතන පාලමක් පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මෙතන ටයිඩ් එක කොහොමද එන්නේ, ඩෙන්සිටි එක, ඊට පස්සේ පයිලටේජ් එක කොහොමද වෙන්නේ, ඔය වගේ ගොඩාක් විස්තර මේකේ තියෙනවා.
And also,
so this is downloadable from some computer.
I will show you where. So also we can use special tide tables, which was also before in the book. Now we have in the programs. It's giving us high and low waters for every hour during the day.
ඒ කියන්නේ වඩදිය බාදිය කොහොමද උසට තියෙන්නේ කියන එක තමයි මේකෙන් පෙන්වන්නේ අපි ඔය යන පෝට් එකේ. ඉතින් ඔය හැම දෙයක්ම තියෙන්න ඕන පෝට් එකට යනකොට.
So we have programs which we can use in computer. So different books, it's Mirality tide tables. We can take the tide tables from there. ENPs, which I explained before, all this useful information regarding our port and our voyage, and such points like vessel traffic systems, who to call, where to call, and for example for correctly Maputo.
Yeah. So if you click somewhere here, you get information from
Maputo, and we open the specific port, and here we can see the numbers of the VHFs, GMDSS equipment which is used by Maputo, etc. etc.
ඒක නිකන් දැන් Google Map එකේ ඔයා ක්ලික් කරාට පස්සේ ටවුන් එකක් ගැන විස්තර එනවා වගේ, ඊට වඩා ටිකක් ඇඩ්වාන්ස් එනවා විස්තර.
So also like a charts, we need to keep updated these nautical publications and to ask permit for area. So for example, this is all world areas, and we are traveling this China Africa part. So for us it's interesting these areas. This means it's open and we have permit to use it.
So we need A6,
we need 6,
5
7,
and 10.
5 and 10. So for example on the 4 we don't have any information, but already down we have what we need. and then we can see what service have for this port, and this
All the
papers what I
details.
print there, all the details you can
right.
find.
ඉතින් අර කලින් පෙන්නුවේ papers වගේක් අතන දැන් ඔය මීට කලින් පෙන්නුවේ ඒ ටික ඔක්කොම මේකෙන් download කරගන්න පුළුවන්. port එකේ විස්තර ඊට පස්සේ මම කිව්වේ pilotage ඊට පස්සේ ගැඹුරවල් berth එකේ විස්තර ඔය වගේ ගොඩාක් දේවල් තියෙනවා. මේකෙන් download කරලා තමයි අර කොලේට අරන් තියෙන්නේ.
So for example, this nautical electronic nautical publications, we have the books for our area, so all the books that's covering our voyage we need to have installed and ready to use all the time. For example, to find Maputo informations about the port, we need to open book Africa Pilot
Volume
3. And once we open it, I will explain you how to find in all this book exactly port what you need. So this is the book, approximately 302 pages, and not to spend too much time for searching, you can refer to the graphic which is on the beginning of every chapter. You have the graphic about area which you want to find, so it's very
Kenya.
Now it's Mozambique, and we know this is referring to number Mozambique, so we need number 5 and number 6 are referring to the Mozambique. So if you go to number 5, again one page up we have the graphic and we can find
right.
So we need Maputo is 5.27.
The area එක ගැන විස්තර ඔක්කොම ලියලා තියෙනවා මේ publication එකේ.
And then we just scroll starting from the 5 and we are looking for the 5.20. And this is Maputo informations.
Right.
Then we print all this about the port we need and keep there where everybody can see and refer to it.
These information getting updated every day, like daily basis, yeah. If they find some new information.
New information, this is on the weekly basis.
Right.
So every week we are receiving updates for
every
electronic
week.
charts, for ENPs and ETPs, and need to be done regularly for our of safety and also for authorities. They inspectors and authorities, they will check that all our charts are updated up to current week.
හරි. ඉතින් සතියකට සැරයක් ඒගොල්ලෝන්ට මේකට අප්ඩේට්ස් එනවා. ඉතින් ඒවා හරියටම අප්ඩේට් වෙලා තියෙන්න ඕන. ඔතොරිටිස් වලින් චෙක් කරනවා පෝර්ට් ස්ටේට් කන්ට්‍රෝල් එකෙන්. ඊට පස්සේ තව අපේ මොනවාද සර්වේ එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලින් මේක බලන්න පුළුවන්. Right.
So also need to take care which area we are sailing with about the GMDSS, so we need to update Navarea on the Inmarsat Sea from which we are getting the informations and messages, and to follow where is our current position and to keep updated also this. And of course, like I mentioned, need to take the time zone and be sure that when we are in our destination that we have the local time to be updated with the hours and everything necessary.
හරි. ඉතින් කවුරු හරි දැන් okay, one more thing.
Yep.
If they search on internet by our ship's name, they can go to this website. Few websites are there, yeah. You can check
I know about marine traffic. You just
ship
need
spotting.
to add the ship's name, and you can get all the time where is if you have some friends or family on the ship, you can see location of the ship, where is the destination, and such information.
From where they are getting these information?
These informations we are putting in our AIS.
Right.
That means automatic notification system. This is navigational aid, where we putting all our information about our ship, and we are updating each time that we are underway. What is our destination? How many crew members? And these informations are given in are airing, and anybody who is using internet can see information about the ship, but especially it's important for the ships around us and port authorities, because this giving our ship's identity and all information which necessary to see our name and our destination, and they can contact us and just have control where we are and what is happening.
ඉතින් ඒකෙන් අපේ වටේ තියෙන නැව් වලටත් අපේ නැවේ crew members ලා කීයක් ඉන්නවද ඒ වගේ බේසික් විස්තර ටිකක් දෙනවා. ඉතින් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකේ නැවේ නම ගහලා සර්ච් කරා නැව තියෙන්නේ කොහෙද යන ස්පීඩ් එක ඒ වගේ දේවල් ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. තව ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඒ ඇප් එකකට ගිහිල්ලා ඒකට පේමන්ට් එකක් කරලා තියෙනවා නම් එන්ජින් එක ගැන විස්තර ඒ වගේ ගොඩක් විස්තර ඒ වගේ වෙබ්සයිට් එකකින් ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් එතන තියෙන AIS එකෙන් තමයි ඔය විස්තර ටික යන්නේ.
So one more information useful is when preparing the voyage, always try to make it as detailed as possible and to be sure once you sail that everything is prepared and you can have the safe voyage. So prepare in advance, especially if you have time and you know what is the next destination port. Don't wait the last moment, just should be prepared in advance and everything to stand by and ready and on position. So once the ship need to sail, sometimes even ship sails earlier than predicted, and we just need to be ready any time to sail and to have the safe voyage. Also, one of the important information is to check the distance between the ports, because this can be very useful for the fuel and bunkering, to see if the ship has enough fuel and if it's necessary to order more to reach safely the destination which we are directing.
Right. So all these jobs you've shown me was done by you, yeah?
Yeah, all this
Planning.
is done by second officer and it's called planning of the voyage. So once the ship need to sail, everything need to be ready. So all informations need to be on the hand for all the officers, and ship is following the route and need to bring ship safety to the destination.
Right. So now time is 2:42. How many hours remaining for your watch?
It's like 1 hour and 80 minutes. So second
next
mate
will be?
watch is from midnight to 4 in the morning and noon time to 4 afternoon. Next one is chief mate.
Yeah.
With 4-hour watch 2 times per day, and last one is third mate. So all together 3 of us covering the
Right.
jobs on the bridge, on the ship, and navigational watch 24 hours per day.
I think officers ලා 3 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. third officer උදේ 8 ඉඳන් 12ට, ඊට පස්සේ second officer 12 ඉඳන් 4ට, chief officer 4 ඉඳන් 8ට, ඊට පස්සේ ආයෙත් third officer එනවා රෑ 8 ඉඳන් 12ට. එහෙම 4 watch තමයි යන්නේ. ඉතින් කවදාවත් නිවාඩු දවසක් නැහැ. holidays ඒව මොනවත් නැහැ. හැමදාම වැඩ. Right. That's it.
Yeah, more or less this is some simple explanation about preparation of the voyage. And
So this process is very complicated and should be done by experienced person, and we did it in a simple way, yeah?
just
within like 30 minutes.
Simple way to explain what is necessary to do. Of course, this is all a lot of job for each of these tasks what I explained, and need a lot more time to do it than this 30 minutes
Yeah.
what we shortly explained.
So we will do another video before I sign off. So I got another like 18 days more.
I have 18 minutes for the one watch, but you have 18 days to go
To
home.
go home.
You are the
Yeah.
lucky one.
Then before I go home, we will do another video about how to change ships clocks and like how to
Just all
pass time zones and
time zones and how
all
to
this.
adjust equipment to the new time.
Yes.
And this
A lot
will
of
be more
people
works.
asking about this, which time we are using on board the ship, how ship's time is being changed when we passing time zones and, all this stuff.
Also where to find these time zones and
Yeah.
to explain how to find
Yes.
and how to change all this.
So we will do another video about this with Balsa. So thank you for showing us around.
Anytime.
Yeah.
And
It's time
Glad
for
to
me to
have
go to sleep and for him to continue the watch.
again, lucky you.
Yeah. So if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe from below, give a follow up on Instagram and give a like on Facebook. ඉතින් අපි තවත් වීඩියෝ එකකින් හම්බෙමු. ඉතින් මේ වීඩියෝ එකේ ඉංග්‍රීසි වලිනුත් පැහැදිලි කරා. මොකද බල්සට අපේ ලැන්ග්වේජ් එක තේරෙන්නේ නැහනේ සිංහල. ඉතින් we did it in English some parts I explain of course in Sinhala. Yeah. So thank you again.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
See you.